Hello? Hello, am I back? Oh, what's going on? Okay, I have no idea what's going on, but that's fine. I'm glad you can hear me now. Um, okay, well, I don't know how long. That's fine, don't worry. Okay. Uh, did I explain the football pitch then? Could you hear that or no? No, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's go back. Um, okay. So the football pitch is the same idea as this, right? But we're looking at the perimeter and the area. Um, area being the area inside here, so all the space in there, and then the perimeter being the total length of all the sides, okay? So these are two formulas you can use. I think generally, if it's a square or a rectangle, you just do A times B, so just one long side. You need one of each pair, basically. So what I was saying was, I don't know if my mic was muted for it, but there's always a pair of sides, right, in a rectangle. Because they're two pairs. So one pair has the same length and one pair is normally shorter. So what you need to do is get one of the lengths of one pair times it by the lengths of one of the other pair. And then you'll get the area and then add all of it up and you get the perimeter. And then this is just like kind of same topic, same thing. And then I am now talking about triangles. Um, so I'm just gonna start again. So what I was saying was that a square, right? It's a terrible square. But a square, if you cut it in half, is just a triangle. Um, and if you want to find the area of a square, you do A times by B, right? That would be your area. But if you wanted to find the area of, say, this triangle here, I don't know if you could think about a formula yourself, but what you would do is you do half times by A times by B, right? Because what we're trying to find out is basically half of a square, with B being here and A being here. So if we look at this diagram, right? So this would be your B, or your H actually is what I think it's really called. And then this is your B, because it's your base. So the formula for the area of a triangle is half times by B times by H. Now B standing for H, sorry, B standing for base, H standing for height. So in this case, let's figure it out, right? So half times by 10 times by 15, that's 5 times 15, that's 75. Any questions off that? Wait, can you not hear me still? Oh, wait, but you just responded to me. I can hear you now. Wait. So can you hear me or you can't hear me? No questions. Okay, perfect. Sorry, thank you. Sorry. It still shows that my microphone isn't working, so that's why I'm just getting a bit confused. Um, but that's fine. So, yeah, half base times height. That makes sense. Um, Now, even for different types of triangles, where they look different, or you're like, oh, maybe it's not the same, it's not the same. It's always the same. Always the same. It's base times height times area. Now, circles is a bit different. So circles, when you're trying to find stuff out about them, they use this thing called pi. So it's just a funky number. It's like a constant. Okay, so it's just used in equations. Now, we need to understand a few measurements about a circle before we can start to understand this. So this r is the radius. That is the distance from the center to the edge of the circle. Now the radius is the same all the way around, right? And then if we wanted to look at, okay, what's one side all the way to the other side, that's your diameter, right? So that's 2 times your radius. That is your entire, um, it's basically from one side of the circle to another. That's the length, right? The length of one side of the circle to another. And if we wanted to figure out the area, for example, right, we would do pi r squared. It's kind of as simple as it looks, right? You just quick get your calculator, put 3.14 blah blah blah, or the pi symbol, definitely the pi symbol. But I think actually for NCFE and functional skills specifically, they accept using 3.14 instead of pi. And I think they tell you to use 3.14 for pi. So I think that's pretty good. And it just times it by r times by r, right? Because it's r squared. Pretty simple. And then circumference is just 2 times pi r. I'm not going to explain why it is. I think my advice would just be you definitely should remember this. This will definitely be a question. 100%, 100% you'll get at least one question on here. So if you need to take a minute, just take a picture, whatever you need to do, just definitely do that. Okay, we'll go next. Okay, so what is the area and circumference of a circle? Okay, let's figure it out. I'm gonna just show you how to do it. I'm gonna leave it in the form pi because I don't have my calculator right now. So, so area equals pi times 4 times 4, which is just 16 pi. And then circumference is 2 times pi times 4. So it's 8 pi. I think that's pretty simple. And then if you just wanted to go on your calculator to figure it out, yeah, you could. It's not that tricky. Okie dokie. Now, stuff like this is interesting. I find these a little bit tough sometimes, but what I would recommend is just you have to break it down. So there are a number of ways of doing this by dividing the shape into 2 or 3 rectangles. Now, I'm just looking at this. I would probably just do this. Just just that, right? Because then you have 14, so 14 times by 35. So 14 times by 35. And then 12 times by 15. So 12 times by 15. You add the two together, and you'll get the entire sum of what's in all this stuff. You know what I mean? Um, just on that one, Fatima, I didn't explain it the best, but I just want to know is that I'm sure you probably understand that, don't you? Yeah, okay, perfect, thanks. Um, So that's that for today, I think. Just a short one. Let me do one more. Give me 1 second. Volume. Yeah, let's do volume. Okay. Okay. For now we're going to be covering some volume, working out volume, stuff like that. Okay. Now I really don't like this. Like I really don't like this formula. This really annoys me. Don't use this. This is a bit better, but it's still a bit confusing. So I'm gonna try and find an example. Okay, I'm just gonna make an example. So a cube, right? Um, you're gonna do A times by B times by C. Now, obviously, because it's a cube, you can do any three sides, right? But if you had a rectangle, sorry, if you had a cuboid where C is longer than A and B, then you would need to use C, right? Because you're doing the surface area. Whenever you're finding the volume of a shape, right? And that shape is like consistent from every layer. Do you know what I mean? Like if you cut it into like tiny thousands of slices anyway, they would all be the same level of slices and the same amount you would get per slice, if that makes sense. So if I cut this down the middle, every side would be the same. Do you know what I mean? Um, but let's look at now a cylinder. Um, so cylinders are a bit more interesting. Now, what I just said about kind of you find the area and then it's you basically time the surface area, sorry, and then you times it by the height or the distance, right? So look, this is at the top, right? It's just a circle. It's literally just a circle. But then if you think about it, now it's like a circle with like a bunch of circles, it's like a bunch more circles. So what you do is you do pi r squared h. So this is the area, sorry, volume of a cylinder formula. That's terrible, but that is the formula for it. Um, it's pretty simple, I think. If you think about it, either way I think about it is literally just like, okay, it's a circle, and then I find the area of the circle, and then I just times it by this number. Because generally in a volume calculation, it's A times B times H. H being height, A times B being the area essentially, right? If you remember the last presentation, we said A times B is like a generic area formula, right? All you have to do to find the volume of something else is just add H to it. It's a third dimension. Okay, surface area is different than volume, right? Because it's different. So surface area, you find the area of one side, and then you times it by the amount of sides that that shape has. So for a cube, a squared is timesing this by this, timesing it by 6 because there's 6 sides on a cube. Nah, so this is what I meant about a cuboid, right? Okay, these are, I think letters can be confusing, right? I think the letters can be confusing for something so simple, right? Because you need to times this, right, by this, and then times it by this, okay? Because you find out, right, the area on the top, and then basically you times this by every little layer. right? That's what a volume calculation is. It's like how many times can this surface go downwards? And then you get a number, and that tells you basically everything inside it. Um, you can write it like this. Never write it like this. Um, yeah, don't write it like that. It's just confusing. Just do pi 2 pi r squared h. So much better. So much cleaner. Everyone, you know what you're doing with r squared. You know what you're doing with the h. The pi makes sense. You do not need to complicate it with the brackets at all. Oh, I think that's everything. Nothing else is coming. So that's all for today. Thank you very much, Fatimata. Apologies for the issues we've experienced, but I hope those concepts are pretty clear. Um, I'm going to be doing an in-person maths and English session this Friday, or the coming Friday, in the center. If anyone is interested, please, you're more than welcome to come. If you need any details, text us on the office group chat, um, and we'll be able to reply, as I'm sure as soon as we see it.